Okay, so Zara, tell us a little bit about why, Boris Johnson is facing this political crisis. Why are these Tories rebelling, and what does that speak to in terms of like the general mood that people would boo him, during the Queen's Jubilee and stuff like that?
Since Boris Johnson was leader of the Tories and he's, been the Prime Minister for the past 2.5 years, overlooking multiple crises. So we've got a cost of living crisis, we've had a really bad pandemic response where 170,000 people have died, while they talk about the vaccination program that was delivered by the NHS, which they have systematically tried to destroy by privatisation, underfunding, and now we've got a cost of living crisis that is worse than anything we've ever seen before, the worst since records began. And the Tories can see the writing on the wall that this is a deeply unpopular Prime Minister, and to save their own skin, to save their seats, they feel that they now need to act. But it's deeply political. It's not, something that's motivated by, I don't know, helping people, I would say. It's basically, they can see how unpopular he is and what is happening in the country with food bank use going through the roof. And I guess the booing at the Jubilee event was just another kind of incident that's made them act, but we don't know how they're going to vote tonight, so who knows what's going to happen.
I see. And then secondly, what's the link between, the cost of living crisis? People are seeing 11% inflation, families losing, thousands of pounds in value just this year alone. What's the link between that and like the wider political and economic system that we have here in the UK?
So I would say that the cost of living crisis has come on the back of 12 years of austerity, where a political choice was made that working people were going to pay for the financial crisis, where the government bailed out the bankers and made working class communities pay for it. We saw our youth centres close down, we saw our schools underfunded, we saw hospitals not get the investment that they needed. And now we've just got another stage of that, which is horrifying. And when people talk about the cost of living crisis, especially Tory MPs, they'll just say, oh, people just need to get a job, or they just need to get more jobs, or they just need to learn how to cook food. A lot of people who are working are dependent on food banks. There are teachers, there are nurses who are also going to food banks. And it's because this economy is working for the super rich. We've got 177 billionaires in the UK. At the same time, incredibly desperate, vulnerable, impoverished people. And that's because when you have excessive wealth that's made out of exploitation and not paying people the wages that they should, you're going to have extreme poverty. And that's what this system is doing. It is, there's been a huge shift of wealth over the course of the pandemic in the hands of a small number of people, the wealthiest in our country. And working people, working class communities are paying the price for that. And that is what is going on.
I see. And of course, there's an upcoming demonstration, 18th of June, and the sort of coalitions that we're seeing, young people, old people, employed people, unemployed people. What kind of action can people take, to really make a difference and build that coalition?
I think the demonstration is a really important event where we need to have people coming, marching on the streets, telling the government that enough is enough, that they are going to have their energy bills reduced, and that's through a windfall tax, and then long term, obviously, through nationalising energy companies, that they are going to get the pay rises that they deserve, and forcing all of these on the agenda. We've seen huge cuts to social security and pensions at the same time. We've seen a public sector pay freeze, and all of these things are things that need to change. And we can't wait around for, Downing Street or Westminster to kind of suddenly change their minds. This has to be forced through mobilizing, through people coming together. And it also involves not just a demonstration, it involves getting involved in trade unions. So if you're not involved, if you're not a trade union member, please join a trade union. Even if you're a student or if you're not working, trade unions like Unite have a community section which allows people who aren't working to be part of a union. I think it's really important that we also organise renters. Young people especially are disproportionately renting, and there's a housing crisis, and there has been for over a decade. Join a renters union. They are doing incredible work protecting people on the front lines, and these are all spaces that we have to grow. We need to bring people with us, we need to develop them, and then we need to be forcing change. And an election could be around the corner, we don't know, but things in politics change very quickly. A year ago, Boris Johnson was very confident. He had an 80-seat majority, and now it's questionable what's going to happen to him tonight, tomorrow. So politics can change very quickly. We need to be ready, prepared with our demands, getting things done. And I think that's what is so exciting about events and spaces like this. It's an opportunity to bring loads of people together, to look at what unites us, to flesh out our common demands and then win them.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah. Thank you so
Always
much.
wonderful.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.